Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Free Abundance. So in today's live video, I'm going to be sharing a couple of different items and information in regards to aromatherapy and the different fragrances that I have been really immersing myself in for my health and wellness, spirituality, and things of that nature. So, according to the title here, I'm going to be sharing an item that I purchased at a local international market. So, I'm excited to have been using this Oud Khaliji air freshener by Loloa Aqua Sensations. And this is a really fragrant, really nice oud fragrance for anyone who is not very familiar with oud, bakurs, and Islamic lifestyle type of incense that are used to infuse your clothing, keeping yourself purified religiously. These are different fragrances that are used by various Muslims from across the world. So this one in particular was made in Egypt. And this one smells really good. It's very potent. And you'll see on the back here, made in Egypt. And I'm just going to read some information from one of the Healing Power of Aromatherapy books regarding Egyptian civilizations and the use of aromatherapies, because I have done a lot of research into the different perfuming practices of ancient Egypt, and I'm very intrigued by the fragrances and things like that. So I am going to go ahead and read some history into it. So I have done a review for this book before. This is The Healing Power of Aromatherapy by Hasnain Walji, who is a fellow Muslim who is pretty much a jack of all trades. He's very much into natural health and healing, plant medicine. He is a speaker. He is an activist. In all sorts of ways. So this is a really good book that I have done a review for a few years ago that I still actively have in my home and use. So I'm going to be reading in the second chapter here, where it talks about magic and mystery, a brief history of aromatherapy. So I'm just going to read about it here because it states at the top here, you'll see ancient Egyptians and the significances of fragrances such as bakurs and oud fragrances, different loose herbs and incense that are used across the African continent. So I'm going to start here with the ancient Egyptian section and just kind of read through some of what is listed here. So it states here, ancient Egyptians. Perhaps no other culture understood the interrelationship of these two aspects better than the ancient Egyptians. For them, the magic and mystery of aromatherapy permeated the whole of their daily existence. We know from records dating back to around 4500 BC that their practice of medicine rituals, embalming, and astrology incorporated the use of fragrant spices and oils, resins and bark, and their vinegars, wines, and beers were scented. Other sources describe the particular blends of sweet-smelling substances that were used by the priests and alchemists to make perfumes and medicines. Some of the perfumes were used in rituals to heighten religious experience and fervor. Kaifi is one of those. This preparation included 16 separate aromatic ingredients, among them saffron, juniper, myrrh, cassia, spikenard, and cinnamon. During important festivals, the city squares exuded the aromas of burning piles of fragrant substances. We also know that for medicinal purposes, plants and their properties were relied on to treat a wide range of conditions. The prescribed remedy for hay fever, for instance, was a mixture of anatomy, a silvery white chemical compound, aloe, myrrh, and honey. As a contraceptive measure, a combination of acacia, colocynth, a bitter apple pulp, dates and honey was placed in the female genitalia to ferment into lactic acid. We now know that lactic acid acts as a spermicide. Foods, too, were infused with fragrances that helped the digestive processes. Caraway, coriander, and aniseed were added to bread. Onions and garlic, with their stimulating and antibacterial properties, formed a staple part of the diet. Garlic was given to the slaves who built the pyramids to ensure that sickness did not interfere with the important job of building a tomb for their pharaoh. We are all aware of the Egyptians' mummification of their dead. The embalmers of those times used the preservative properties of plants to ensure the safe arrival of the deceased into the next world. Cedarwood and myrrh were highly prized in this process, but other plants with antiseptic and antibacterial qualities were also part of the embalmer's repertoire, including cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and resins such as galbanum. It is reported that when the tomb of Tutankhamun was opened in 1922, the odors of the preservatives used were still detectable, and pots were found containing myrrh and frankincense. The fame of the Egyptian priests and priestesses spread far and wide, and many physicians and wise men from other cultures made the pilgrimage to Egypt to learn from them. Also famous were the Egyptian botanical gardens, which contained plants brought from as far away as China and India. The oils that the ancient Egyptians used were extracted in two main ways. The first involved the process of distillation. Large clay pots were filled first with plant material and then with water. The neck of the pot was stopped up with woolen fibers, and the pot was heated. The steam carried the essential oils upward, where they were trapped by the wool. The fibers were then gathering the flowers into a large cloth bag with sticks attached to it. The sticks were twisted around and around until the oils were squeezed out of the petals. Some archaeologists believe that the ancient Egyptians obtained their oils in yet another way, by the process of infusion. The plants were left in the sun for a few days, sitting on top of a layer of oil or fat. These bases would then take on the aromas of the plant material. But whatever method was used, it can be said that the ancient Egyptians were the first true aromatherapists. So I love this book and how it gives you a lot of historical background into aromatherapy. I am someone who is very much into holistic health and wellness, using aromatics, different, loose herbs, incense, burning dried herbs, cleansing herbs, things of that nature. And this book definitely will break down in different parts of the world how aromatherapy was used throughout history. So you'll see in here, it'll talk about how the Chinese used aromatherapy, Greeks and Romans. Then you'll hear about how it's used in the Arab world, in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance in Europe. And then it'll go into a lot of the herbal medicine meets modern science, how things kind of developed and were taken from these parts of the world and brought into the United States and used in everyday life. So I think it's really good to know how important these ancient practices are, and to really do your research and learn how beneficial it can be for you. I am someone, as I stated before, who loves aromatherapies. I'm very big into burning essential oils and burning fragrances and really connecting spiritually with the euphoria that comes with it and how it can help you lift your mood, or kind of any illnesses that are nasal congestions, things of that nature. Aromatherapy is always something that can help alleviate any of those factors. So as I said before, I've done a review for this book. I have this one, and then I had another one that I purchased by him that was explaining the uses of kava, how kava is used for stress relief. It is a natural plant based material that is used in the Fijian world, in the Pacific Island areas of the world, and how it is used as a natural stress reliever. So I'm definitely someone who has taken that journey into, taking kava, going to different local kava bars and experiencing that relaxation that comes from drinking kava. And I really do enjoy it. It is definitely something that I feel is enjoyable. I do like, the atmosphere of drinking it in a bowl, and just kind of resonating over that and setting your intentions for what you want to obtain from this plant material. Because for anyone who's into holistic health and wellness, botanical kind of studies and things of that nature, connecting with plants and herbs, being an herbalist is definitely something that heightens you spiritually. So I'm definitely somebody who has studied a lot about holistic health remedies, homeopathy, a lot of those things. So another part of this book that I'll share before I end this live here is it talks a lot about the philosophy of of holistic healing. So there's a lot of information into the concept of dualism. There's a lot of information in here about psychomatic, what the differences are with psychoactive, plant materials that will provide mental healing, and then the physical, um, materials that will heal your body. So knowing that there is a separation between what is going to be a psychoactive remedy for you or something that's going to be for your body, just like THC is more of a psychoactive when it comes to marijuana, and CBD is more of a topical or for pain relief in the body. There are two different um, historical uses and preparations for plants in general. So I really love this book. This is a really good book. As I had stated before, there's a lot of information. I will definitely link his Amazon store because he does have a lot of different books that kind of compile all of his studies into one. This one also has some recipes in it. So it'll talk about how to use carrier oils when you are mixing and trying to create different concoctions, poultices, inhalations, mouthwashes, a lot of things that I'm very much into. The cautions, disclaimers. For instance, there are different essential oils that you cannot take orally. You can, suffer from chemical burns if you do not dilute properly. So there's just a lot of information that you have to know in order to be safe. This also will talk about aromatherapy and water. I'm very much into water therapy. I love anywhere I can get to where there's a body of water or there's rivers or anything like that. I find a relief in healing waters. So I love, the aromatic side of aromatherapy and water and how they correlate together. It talks about how in pregnancy aromatic oils are used. I'm definitely someone who made use of these practices in my first pregnancy with my daughter. I did go through a period where I studied a lot about aromatherapy. When I was giving birth to my daughter, I initially wanted to have a water birth because I wanted that spiritual connection with my child and having her in water. However, I wasn't able to find any medical practice that provided that service for me. However, I did choose to labor in water, and getting that element of water into my birth, having water poured over her, and really trying to create a calm atmosphere with aromatics, burning lavender, essential oil. I did a lot of those practices for my pregnancy. So I definitely can say they are things that can help you as a woman to alleviate injuries in birth. I feel like a lot of women don't understand that water is something that will keep you lubricated when your child is coming out. And I feel like that can alleviate a lot of injuries that a lot of women go through, is to keep yourself lubricated in water in order for your child to come out in a more healthy and safe manner. So it's definitely something that I can say was good for me. My daughter is healthy, she's well, she came out with no problem. So I definitely can say that those aspects of pregnancy are definitely something that should be reestablished in the medical field and in the medical world for women. So if you enjoyed this live video today, please give it 2 thumbs up. As I stated before, this is a really good oud Khaliji that I've been using. It smells so good. I'm definitely getting into the preparations of making my own blends and mixtures for burning. So for anyone who's been following me for the last couple of years, I do have my own Square site where I'm selling items that are handcrafted, imported, kind of a mixture of things that I'll be getting into in the new year. So definitely stay tuned for the items that I will have available as I, continue my creative process and start to really get back to where um, my spiritual practices are really being cultivated into my shop. So thank you so much for watching. For the viewers, I appreciate your interactions, and stay tuned for more videos in this new year, 2026. And I hope to see some of my regular subscribers interact more with my content. And yeah, Happy New Year, and thank you so much for watching.